Hey guys, we're on a morning hike with Heather here, doing a walk and talk. Good Lord, I've been writing my book and I've been crying all morning long. And not because I'm sad or depressed or, well, I am hormonal. I'm very hormonal and I am menopausal, and I have no doubt that that's taken part in what's happening right now, but I can't seem to stop crying. And I just got done with the part where, in my book, where I hiked the Appalachian Trail, 1,500 miles. And for those of you who might be tired of hearing it, the trail is just a setting for where my life took place. It wasn't about the trail. If it was a success story about through hiking the Appalachian Trail, it wouldn't be a good one, because I only did 1,500 miles out of the 2,198. But I did 7 months of living outside on my own and alone. And I think that's what I feel called to talk about today, is the part about being alone and feeling alone. And it's like I feel the weight of so many people that I see through Facebook. I feel the weight of their being alone. And I guess I just want to reach out and say that if you are feeling alone, embrace it. I was that way. Lord knows. I started off hiking the trail with my son after our family had just went through a huge crisis the night before. And I think he only hiked with me he missed his whole end of the school year of his senior year to hike with me, because I had no other choice, right? I had no place to go. I had places to go, but if I would have went there, hell would have been raised. It would have been chaos for anybody who tried to help me. So, I felt called to hike the trail, even though I never hiked or camped before, because I would be alone, and that was for a reason. So my son hiked with me until he felt like I could hike one day without falling flat on my face and hurting myself. So he stayed with me the whole time for about 100 miles, right? But there came a time where he had to say goodbye. He's like, Mom, anything this hard, this long, and this boring, I want to get paid for. And he's not wrong. It's a hard trail. You're climbing mountains. You're walking uphill for what seems like days, and you don't have service and you don't have any signal. So the day he was getting off trail and he was saying goodbye, he was like, Mom, I think this is a solo journey meant for you to do alone. So God, that hit so hard, because I knew that was the end. Like, I had gone to see a divorce lawyer, and I had filled out all the paperwork online. I guess it had automatically set up an appointment that the law firm didn't get until I showed up. And so the secretary was completely overwhelmed and was making me feel about this big. And I'm starting to think, well, maybe this is not God's plan. Maybe this is not meant to be. And she's frustrated, and she sits me down in the conference room because they weren't expecting me, and she gives me a stack of paper about this big, and she wants me to fill those out. And I was like, God, I've already filled all this out. So I did what they said, and I filled it out again. But there was one question on there that wasn't on the online version, and it was, what do you fear most about getting a divorce? So I had to sit back, and I knew I shouldn't have written it, because the minute I wrote it, I knew it was going to come to fruition, and that was the fear of being homeless. And it's not just about not having a house. It's about not having a home. You give your life to a marriage and a house and a family for 20 years, and you go for that feeling that was never good enough. Like, And gosh, I'm sorry. I am healed from this, I swear. It's just, as women, when we put ourselves back in that time and place, you feel the same things. So, that was a big fear of mine. And like I said, it wasn't about having a house. It was about not having a home anymore. That if I wanted a divorce, I was going to be the one that had to leave. And I had nothing. And you're having to deal with the stupidity of why you have nothing at 50 years old. I was a successful real estate broker. In my 20s, I owned 6 rental properties, 2 cars, my dream car. I get married, I lose it all. And not only that, you're 50 years old and you don't have 1 car in your name. I have a mortgage in my name, but the deed's not in my name, So, don't ask. But, so to regain your freedom, you have to leave with absolutely nothing. Which is what I did. I left with nothing but a little crypto I had managed to save and a backpack on my back. But the thought of not walking back through the doors of a home that I had renovated myself to play a role of a mother that I had been for 20 years to 2 boys in my life every day, all day, as a homeschooling stay-at-home mom, it was just more than I could bear, So when they asked me that question, that's what I meant. It wasn't so much a house or possessions or having a thriving business that wasn't even in my name. Nothing was in my name. So, I begged to take my business with me so it would have a form of income, and he wouldn't allow it. It was all in his name and he had the final say so. So I agreed to take the debt and the business, but I wanted to do it somewhere where I knew things wouldn't happen. And he refused. So I literally had to walk out the door without anything but the crypto I had saved and my backpack on my back. And when you go through that and you say goodbye to a house the night before and go through every room that you had renovated at one time or the other and go into your boys' bedrooms where they're sleeping and know that you won't be walking into that bedroom ever again unless you've been through it, you have no clue how hard divorce is. And to give all that up, there has to be a reason for it, To start with everything and walk away with nothing, there's a reason for that. And I was trying to find that on trail. And I knew when Braylon said it was going to be a journey that I took alone, those were the things I was going to have to work through. The divorce lawyer advised me to just disappear. That she had faith in who I was as a woman to rebuild myself, but to disappear and to lose all contact with everybody. But she obviously didn't have any kids. So the best thing I could think of to do was hike the Appalachian Trail, which I've been called to do. For years, honestly, it was a seed that was planted for years that I really couldn't understand. I was fascinated with it, but God's perfect timing comes into play when it's supposed to come into play. And He'll plant those little seeds early in life that will bring you through the toughest times. And that's basically what the book is about. Not so much the dirty laundry of my marriage or whatever, but the ability to come through it on the other side and be alone, to embrace the alone and to ask the hard questions, for God to show up for you, and have him tell you directly that he had never left you or abandoned you. And I feel that in so many people. Like, it's a weird thing, because I used to love being around a ton of people. I used to love parties and being the life of the party, but after the trail, it's really hard, because I enjoy being alone so much that it's hard for me to get back into adjusting to society. And so I have gone into hermit mode, and you haven't seen me a lot, but it's a good thing. It's almost a jealous love for God to be just him and me. And but now I feel like he's saying it's time to get back out there. It's time to tell people about this amazing experience with me that you had. It wasn't the amazing experience on trail, it's the amazing experience of knowing that you're never alone. And gosh, this is what I struggle with, because this is why it's easier for me to write than to speak. But because I can think about words, and I can think about what I'm saying when I'm putting it on paper, as regards to video, where you're just blabbering off the mouth. But I hope that this is getting through to somebody that it needs to get through to. Like, I hope, I just don't feel like I'm doing it justice. Gosh. Anyway, that's what I feel called to say. Trying to think if there's anything else, but I think that's about it. I'm drawing a blank if it is, and you're probably tired of hearing me sniffle, and it's part of the weather too. But anyway, I don't know when this book is going to come out. I still haven't left Virginia in the book. I thought I would be done by early summer, but now I don't know. It might be late summer. But anyway, that's it. Bye.